Finally, a politician that realises we're now doing more harm than good in our tunnel vision approach to the pandemic. A politician that calls out the lockdown measures as being confusing, unworkable, and in many cases, plain wrong. And who is that clear-sighted politician? Someone high up, surely. The Prime Minister, Boris Johnson? Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland? No such luck. The Mayor of Middlesbrough, Andy Preston. Now, I have to be honest with you. I didn't really know that local mayors do much, okay? Above and beyond opening shopping centres, kissing babies and wearing more heavy jewellery round their neck than Mr. T from the A-Team. But what we've seen from Mayor Preston has been something that has been so lacking from our main political leadership over the last few months. And what has been lacking? Well, courage, empathy, and wait for it, common sense. Andy Preston has been propelled to the status of a national celebrity, and rightly so. He doesn't want to be famous, of course not. He wants to look out for his community, but in doing so, he has torn up the smug political consensus on COVID. His impulse is a very human one. He's not thinking about the big public inquiry that will happen after the pandemic. He's not thinking about his political legacy or how history will judge him, which is the total preoccupation of those in Westminster. Oh no, he just cannot stand by and watch the damage being inflicted on his people, the fine people of Middlesbrough, an area that at the best of times faces huge economic challenges. It's a deprived part of the country, an area that requires and deserves investment, urban regeneration, and that much promised levelling up, which we still hope the Prime Minister will deliver. Every region in the country is struggling, and at the tail end of summer, with the Chancellor's innovative Eat Out to Help Out scheme, the hospitality sector, along with many other parts of our economy, were just starting to get back on their feet. However, the press conference of doom last week from Messrs Whitty and Vallance, gloomily trotted out again by a haunted, defeated-looking Boris Johnson on Wednesday, felt like the final nail in the coffin for so many industries. And it felt like a hammer blow for regions like Middlesbrough. And the thing about Middlesbrough, like so many parts of the north of England, is that it's an area that can't just shrug off a blow like this, take it on the chin, in a way that perhaps other wealthier British towns and cities will. I've said many times that if you crash the economy into a brick wall, you create poverty, and poverty kills. So it's pretty clear that the impact of COVID measures, whilst being felt everywhere, absolutely, discriminate most and exact the most damage to the poorest parts of this country. Andy Preston, unlike the Prime Minister, is not haunted or defeated. There's no terror in his eyes. He's angry because he is witnessing at first hand the devastation to people's lives that is happening as a result of these unending local lockdown measures. Businesses closing down, shops, restaurants and bars boarded up, unemployment spiralling, deprivation and inequality growing, all because of a neurotic, hysterical obsession with this virus. And let's not even go there in relation to the thousands of people in Middlesbrough who are suffering in silence with undiagnosed other illnesses, who cannot get an appointment with a GP or dare not ask. Whilst I have protested consistently about many of the government's measures, I've always followed the rules, including those awful masks, and I always will follow the rules. But when discretion becomes a mandate, when adults are treated like children, when you have to send people home to bed at 10 o'clock at night, when you give untrained civilians the power of law enforcement, when you have neighbours snitching on each other, and when you threaten to send in the army, you're losing the argument. The COVID consensus is crumbling. And if our leaders in Westminster keep their heads in the sand any longer, Andy Preston will not be a lone voice. He will be the first of many. This is Talk Radio.